Welcome to my channel HD Rare Coins 111, the place where history meets treasure. Here, every coin tells a story, from the oldest United States classics that shaped our past to the newest rare discoveries that amaze collectors today. If you love the thrill of uncovering hidden value, exploring the beauty of design, and learning the secrets behind coins worth fortunes, then you're in the right place. Join us as we dive deep into the world of rare U.S. coins, both old and new, and reveal the fascinating details that make them priceless. Top 1. The 1917 Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than just a small copper coin. It is a window into early 20th century America. Over a century old, this penny carries with it the spirit of an era defined by war, change, and the enduring image of Abraham Lincoln. The Lincoln cent was first introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. It was the first U.S. coin to feature the portrait of an actual historical figure, and its introduction marked a new chapter in American coinage. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse of the coin proudly displays the bust of Abraham Lincoln facing right. Above his head rests the word Liberty, while the motto "I in God We Trust" appears across the top of the design. The date, 1917, sits neatly at the bottom right. On the reverse, the coin shows two wheat stalks arching around the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the very top, we find the motto E pluribus unum. This, wheat ears, design, simple yet powerful, gave the coin its nickname, the Wheat Penny. By 1917, the U.S. Mint was producing Lincoln cents in Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia coins bore no mint mark, while Denver coins carried a D, and San Francisco coins carried an S below the date on the obverse. The nation at this time was deeply involved in World War I. The war effort consumed resources and reshaped the economy, yet coinage production continued to meet the needs of a growing population. The 1917 wheat penny was struck from a bronze alloy composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gave the coin its distinctive reddish-brown hue when new, though surviving examples today range from chocolate brown to fiery red depending on how they were preserved. Mintage figures were large. Over 196 million pennies were struck across all three mints. Yet, more than a century of circulation and handling means that well-preserved survivors are far less common than the original numbers might suggest. Most 1917 cents that turn up today are heavily worn, with flattened details and darkened surfaces. These coins may hold historical interest, but they command only modest collector value. The true treasures are those rare examples that remain in mint state condition. These pennies still shine with their original luster, their details sharp and bold, as though they had just left the dies. Color also plays a critical role in determining value. Coins with full, red coloration are the most desirable, while red-brown and brown examples, though still collectible, typically bring less. Grading services such as PCGS and NGC carefully evaluate 1917 wheat pennies, assigning grades based on wear, strike, color, and overall eye appeal. At the highest levels, the value of these coins can become astonishing. Among the most coveted are coins struck with sharp dies and preserved without significant marks. The fine details in Lincoln's hair and beard, along with clean fields, make for breathtaking specimens. Collectors also pursue mint-marked varieties. The 1917D and 1917S pennies, while not the rarest in the series, can command strong premiums in higher grades, as fewer were saved from circulation. Another point of fascination is the presence of era coins from this year. Double dies, off-center strikes, and other minting anomalies can turn an ordinary penny into a remarkable rarity worth thousands. The historical backdrop of 1917 adds depth to this coin's appeal. It was a year when the United States entered World War I, and the Lincoln cent circulated in the hands of soldiers, workers, and families living through a time of global upheaval. Every 1917 penny that survives today carries a silent connection to that era. Imagine how many hands it passed through, how many pockets it jingled in, and how many stories it could tell if only it could speak. Collectors value the 1917 penny not just for its rarity, but for its role as a piece of everyday life in a bygone era. It connects us to the struggles and triumphs of ordinary Americans living more than a century ago, When carefully preserved, the 1917 wheat penny is a work of miniature artistry. Lincoln's portrait reflects Brenner's skill, while the wheat reverse embodies simplicity and strength, making the coin both functional and beautiful. Over the decades, auction houses have sold some 1917 cents for eye-popping sums. These sales highlight just how much collectors are willing to invest for the finest examples of this historic penny. The thrill of discovery is what keeps collectors searching. Old jars of pennies, dusty coin albums, and forgotten family collections sometimes yield 1917 wheat pennies, sparking excitement in those who find them. For beginners, the 1917 penny offers a fascinating entry point into the world of coin collecting. Affordable in lower grades, yet truly rare in higher ones, it appeals to collectors of all levels. For advanced numismatists, the challenge lies in locating and acquiring the finest known specimens. These coins stand as testaments to the art of coin preservation and the dedication of serious hobbyists. The penny may be the smallest denomination in American currency, but the 1917 Lincoln Wheat Penny shows that even the humblest coin can achieve greatness in the eyes of collectors. This coin reminds us of a simple truth: value is not only measured by the metal it contains, but by its history, condition, and rarity. The 1917 wheat penny is more than just a coin. It is a link between past and present, a tiny piece of copper that carries with it the weight of American history. So the next time you come across an old wheat penny, take a closer look. You might just hold a piece of history worth far more than a single cent, and for the most exceptional examples of the 1917 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the value has reached an astonishing $467,000. Top 2. The 1936 Lincoln Wheat Penny stands out as one of the most fascinating coins from the early 20th century. More than just a cent, this coin represents a period of transition in American history and the enduring legacy of Abraham Lincoln on U.S. coinage. When the Lincoln Wheat Penny was introduced in 1909, it immediately captured the attention of the public. By 1936, nearly 3 decades later, it remained a beloved and widely circulated piece of currency. The design, created by Victor David Brenner, still featured the strong profile of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. His portrait was chosen not only for his role as the 16th president, but also as a symbol of unity and perseverance during challenging times. Across the top of the obverse reads the motto, "I in God we trust." The word liberty is placed to the left, and the date 1936 is stamped to the right of Lincoln's shoulder. Coins struck in Denver carry a small D beneath the date, while those minted in San Francisco bear an S. On the reverse side, the wheat stalks curve inward to frame the words 1 cent and United States of America. This simple yet elegant design is accompanied by the Latin phrase E pluribus unum at the top. The 1936 penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia produced the majority, with no mint mark, while Denver and San Francisco coins were struck in smaller numbers. In total, more than 300 million pennies were produced in 1936, making it one of the higher mintage years for the series. Yet despite this large number, well-preserved coins remain prized by collectors today. The composition of the coin remained bronze, made up of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. This gave the penny a rich reddish-brown color when new, though over time many have darkened with circulation. Collectors often classify 1936 pennies by color: red, RD, red-brown, RB, and brown, BN. Brilliant red examples are significantly scarcer and more valuable than darker, well-worn pieces. One fascinating fact about 1936 is that it was the first year the U.S. Mint began producing proof coins again after a long hiatus. Proof Lincoln cents from this year are particularly rare and highly sought after. Proof coins were struck with polished dies and specially prepared planchets, giving them sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. The 1936 proof cent is an impressive coin that commands strong premiums at auction. Another interesting detail is the existence of doubled die varieties for the 1936 penny. Some examples show noticeable doubling in the date or lettering, making them extremely collectible. Era coins from 1936 can also include off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks. These varieties add a layer of excitement for those who enjoy the thrill of searching for hidden treasures. The Great Depression was still a reality for many Americans in 1936. Despite signs of economic recovery, the penny remained an important denomination for everyday transactions, especially for working-class families. In that sense, every 1936 penny tells a story of survival, hard work, and perseverance during one of the most difficult chapters in American history. For collectors today, the 1936 Lincoln Wheat Penny offers a connection to that past, while also serving as an affordable entry point into numismatics for those just starting out. Circulated examples are common and often inexpensive, but the challenge lies in finding those rare high-grade survivors. Grading plays a crucial role in determining value. Coins graded mint state with full luster and sharp details bring prices far higher than heavily worn pieces. Proof coins, as well as those with doubled die varieties, rank among the most desirable. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for the chance to own such remarkable coins. Auction records reveal just how much demand exists for the finest examples of the 1936 penny. Some sales have stunned even experienced numismatists. The Philadelphia proofs, for example, are breathtaking when preserved, showcasing the artistry of the Lincoln design in its most refined form. Meanwhile, Denver and San Francisco coins can be tougher to find in pristine condition, adding an extra layer of rarity for those who enjoy pursuing challenging pieces. For many, the 1936 penny is a reminder that even the smallest coin can carry immense history and meaning. It is both common and extraordinary at the same time. Collectors young and old continue to treasure this coin, passing it down through generations as a symbol of heritage and history. The beauty of coin collecting lies in this blend of history, rarity, and personal discovery. The 1936 penny exemplifies all three qualities in a way that few other coins do. Each time a 1936 penny is found, whether in a collection or an old jar tucked away for decades, it reignites excitement about the stories these coins carry. While millions were struck, only a select few remain in the kind of condition that turns heads and makes headlines in the numismatic world. And it is these rare and well-preserved examples of the 1936 Lincoln Wheat Penny that can reach extraordinary prices, with the most valuable selling for an incredible $387,000. Top 3. The 1941 Lincoln Wheat Penny is a remarkable coin that continues to capture the fascination of collectors across the world. At first glance, it may look like an ordinary cent, but its story and hidden value make it a true treasure. When we think of 1941, we are immediately reminded of a turning point in world history. The United States was on the edge of entering World War II, and the coins struck during this period reflect a nation preparing for immense change. The Lincoln cent itself had already been in circulation for over 30 years by 1941. Introduced in 1909 to honor the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth, the design by Victor David Brenner had become iconic. On the obverse of the coin, the strong and familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln faces right. Above him, the motto "I in God We Trust" reminds Americans of their faith during uncertain times. The word liberty sits to the left of Lincoln's profile, and the date 1941 is displayed clearly on the right. If the coin was struck in Denver or San Francisco, a small D or S mint mark will be found just beneath the date. The reverse of the coin is equally recognizable, with two wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. Above it, the motto "E pluribus unum" ties the design together. The 1941 penny was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Philadelphia, as usual, struck the most coins, while Denver and San Francisco produced fewer, making mint-marked varieties more interesting to collectors. In total, over 887 million pennies were struck in 1941. With such a massive mintage, this coin was everywhere in American pockets during the early 1940s. The coin was composed of the standard bronze alloy of the era, made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc. Its reddish-brown shine when freshly struck made it attractive to the eye. Because these coins were used heavily in circulation, most surviving examples today are found in worn condition. Finding one in crisp, mint-state condition is much rarer. Collectors grade the 1941 penny based on details like the sharpness of Lincoln's hair, the smoothness of the fields, and the brightness of the original luster. High-grade examples with a brilliant red coloration are the most coveted, as very few have survived with their full color intact. The Philadelphia Mint coins are the most common. But Denver and San Francisco pieces in pristine condition can bring impressive prices. One of the fascinating aspects of the 1941 penny is the existence of error coins. These include double die varieties, off-center strikes, and repunched mint marks. Such errors, while unintentional at the mint, are highly prized by collectors because they are scarce and unique. A double die 1941 penny, for example, can multiply the coin's value many times over. Proof versions of the 1941 penny were also struck in limited numbers at the Philadelphia Mint. These proofs have mirror-like fields and sharp details, making them stand out as true works of art. For historians, the 1941 penny holds an extra layer of meaning. It circulated during a time when the U.S. economy was recovering from the Great Depression and preparing for the immense mobilization of World War II. Imagine a penny like this passing through the hands of a factory worker, a soldier, or a child saving coins for war bonds. Each one carries a silent story from that era. Collectors treasure the 1941 penny because it represents both history and artistry. It's a coin that connects us to a pivotal year in America's journey. Over the decades, countless 1941 pennies have been saved by collectors, but only the finest examples have risen to the level of true rarity. When these top-grade coins appear at auctions, they often spark bidding wars among serious collectors. Their beauty, rarity, and historical significance make them irresistible. The allure of coin collecting lies in the possibility of discovering something rare in the most ordinary places. Even today, it's possible for someone to stumble across a 1941 wheat penny without realizing its potential worth. For beginner collectors, the 1941 penny is a wonderful starting point, since circulated examples are affordable and widely available. For advanced numismatists, however, the challenge lies in locating that one spectacular piece with sharp details and blazing color. The 1941 penny shows us that not all treasures are gold or silver. Even a small copper coin can become a cherished collectible worth thousands. It serves as a reminder of how everyday objects can turn into historical artifacts, carrying the weight of stories and memories across generations. Whether tucked away in an old jar, resting in a family collection, or displayed in a professional holder, each 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny tells its own unique tale. And for the rarest, best preserved examples of this 1941 Lincoln Wheat penny, the value can soar to an astonishing $345,000. Top 4. The 1944 Lincoln Wheat penny is one of the most intriguing coins in American numismatics. While millions were produced, certain examples from this year have gone on to become legendary. The year 1944 was one of the most significant in modern history. World War II was at its height, and American soldiers were fighting overseas in Europe and the Pacific. Back home, the U.S. Mint was busy producing the coins needed to keep the wartime economy running. The Lincoln cent had already been in circulation since 1909, when it was first introduced to honor the 100th anniversary of President Abraham Lincoln's birth. By 1944, the wheat penny design had become a familiar part of American life. On the obverse, the coin features the portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. The detail in Lincoln's hair, beard, and profile captures both strength and dignity. Across the top of the coin appears the motto "I in God We Trust," while the word liberty sits to the left. The date, 1944, can be found on the right, with a mint mark underneath if struck in Denver or San Francisco. The reverse carries the classic wheat ears design. Two stalks of wheat curve inward to frame the words 1 cent and United States of America, with the Latin motto E pluribus unum above. The composition of the 1944 cent is where things become especially interesting. During 1943, pennies had been struck from zinc-coated steel to save copper for the war effort. But in 1944, the mint returned to using bronze, made from recycled shell casings collected during the war. This means that every 1944 penny carries with it a symbolic connection to the sacrifices of World War II. Each coin literally contains a piece of the battlefield, transformed into everyday money. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints all produced 1944 pennies, with more than 1 billion coins struck across the 3 facilities. This was one of the highest mintages of the entire series. Because so many were made, most 1944 pennies in circulated condition are still common today. They often appear in coin jars, old rolls, and family collections. However, the real value lies in exceptional examples that were preserved in nearly perfect condition. Coins with sharp details, strong luster, and full original color are highly desirable. Collectors grade these coins carefully, distinguishing between brown, and red examples. Brilliant red coins that retain their full copper shine are the most valuable. Error coins from 1944 are among the most exciting discoveries for collectors. The most famous is the rare 1944 steel penny, struck in error when leftover 1943 steel planchets were accidentally used. Only a handful of genuine 1944 steel cents exist, making them worth a fortune. Spotting one of these in circulation would be a dream come true for any collector. Another rare variety is the 1944 D over S mint mark, where the Denver D was stamped over a San Francisco S. This unusual variety is both scarce and fascinating. Even ordinary-looking 1944 bronze cents can become highly valuable if they survive in pristine, mint-state condition. These are the coins that break records at auctions. Proof-like examples with stunning eye appeal have sold for remarkable amounts, proving that condition is everything in the world of coin collecting. Beyond rarity, the 1944 penny carries emotional significance. Imagine a soldier's family in 1944 using these coins to buy food, clothing, or save for war bonds. Each penny was part of a larger story of sacrifice and perseverance. The fact that these coins were made from recycled wartime shell casings deepens that connection. A penny from 1944 is more than just a coin, it is a piece of American resilience. Collectors treasure this penny for both its historic importance and its collecting potential. It's a coin that embodies the spirit of an entire generation. The thrill of finding a 1944 penny is still alive today. While most are worth only a few cents in worn condition, the chance of uncovering a rare variety makes every discovery exciting. For beginners, the 1944 penny is a great entry point into collecting. It's common enough to be affordable, yet rare enough in certain forms to inspire dreams of big finds. For advanced collectors, the challenge lies in securing the finest examples, those rare coins that have been carefully preserved for decades. Auction results show the incredible demand for these coins. Some sales have stunned the collecting community, with prices climbing far beyond expectations. The 1944 penny proves that even a tiny copper coin can hold immense historical and monetary value. It is a reminder that treasures don't always come in gold or silver. Every time you hold a 1944 penny, you are holding a piece of America's wartime story, a coin that connects us to the sacrifices and victories of that era. This is what makes the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny so captivating. It's not just a collectible, but a living piece of history in the palm of your hand. And for the finest, most remarkable examples of the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the value has reached an astonishing $315,000. Top 5. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is one of those coins that captures the imagination of both new collectors and seasoned numismatists. At first glance, it looks like an ordinary cent, but its history, varieties, and rarity in high grade make it far more than just pocket change. When you think of 1945, you think of a world finally stepping out of the shadow of war. World War II was coming to an end, and millions of Americans were welcoming their loved ones home. Coins from this year reflect the optimism of a nation ready for peace. The Lincoln cent had already been a staple of American currency for over 35 years. First issued in 1909, its design by Victor David Brenner was still admired for its simplicity, and its tribute to Abraham Lincoln. On the obverse, we see Lincoln's strong profile facing right. Above him, the motto "I in God We Trust" proudly rests at the top. The word liberty is positioned on the left side, while the date 1945 appears on the right. Depending on the mint, some coins carry a small mint mark beneath the date. A D stands for Denver, and S for San Francisco. While Philadelphia coins have no mint mark at all, the reverse showcases the famous wheat ears design, with two stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America. At the top is the familiar phrase e pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. By 1945, the U.S. Mint had returned to using bronze for pennies after the steel cent experiment of 1943. The 1945 penny was made of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it a reddish-brown appearance when freshly struck. Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco all struck pennies that year, with production numbers reaching into the hundreds of millions. Philadelphia alone struck more than 1 billion coins. Because of these large mintages, the 1945 penny is common in lower grades. Many survive in circulated condition, showing the heavy wear of years of use. Yet, as every collector knows, condition makes all the difference. While worn examples are common, pristine, high-grade coins with full luster are much harder to find. Collectors classify the color of these pennies into 3 categories: brown, red-brown, and red. Full red examples that retain their original brilliance are the most valuable. One of the most fascinating aspects of 1945 pennies is the presence of errors and varieties. Repunched mint marks, doubled dies, and off-center strikes are among the most collectible. The 1945 S penny, in particular, is known for some intriguing mintmark varieties, which can add significant value to an otherwise ordinary coin. Proof-like strikes are also known to exist, though not officially designated as proofs. These coins were struck with fresh dies and display sharper detail and greater eye appeal. The historical backdrop of 1945 adds to the coin's charm. Imagine a soldier returning home, buying candy for his child with one of these pennies, or a family saving them in jars to purchase post-war necessities. Every 1945 penny tells a silent story of an America in transition, from wartime sacrifice to peacetime recovery. For collectors today, the 1945 penny serves as both a historical artifact and a collectible investment. It bridges a gap between ordinary circulation and extraordinary preservation. Beginners often enjoy starting with 1945 pennies because they are affordable in circulated grades. It's a way to connect with history without spending a fortune. But advanced collectors chase the finest examples, those coins that gleam as though they had just left the mint presses nearly 80 years ago. Auction results prove how much demand exists for the best of the best. When flawless coins appear, collectors are willing to bid aggressively to secure them. This is what makes the 1945 penny so intriguing. It is both common and rare at the same time, easy to find in low grades, but nearly impossible to secure in true gem condition. The allure of rare coins lies in this contrast. Something that millions once spent without a second thought can now become a prized treasure in the right circumstances. Each penny carries the image of Abraham Lincoln, reminding us of leadership, perseverance, and the values that carried the nation through both Civil War and World War. The 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny is more than a coin. It is a living piece of history, a reminder of resilience, and a collectible that links us to the past. Collectors appreciate not just the monetary value of the coin, but the deeper meaning it carries as part of America's story. When preserved carefully, these coins can shine with incredible beauty, their copper tones glowing like a miniature work of art. The search for rare varieties, mint errors, and top-condition examples keeps collectors engaged, always hoping for the next great discovery. And for the rarest, finest, and most exceptional examples of the 1945 Lincoln Wheat Penny, the value can reach an astounding $300,000.